Please let them know. All right.
Well, welcome everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties here. My name is Gerald Schecht, I'm CEO of Inosics. Super excited, first time here at Dreamforce. Awesome crowd, a lot of stuff going on. But what I'm really excited about is to have Kip from Yeti Coolers with us today. The cooler company that made coolers hot and lifestyle products, really cool stuff. I love it. By the way, we're giving this away at the end of the session as well. And we're talking today about SAP and Salesforce integration, how to make Salesforce more productive for your users. A huge topic, so we're going to scratch that much. I could talk all week long about this. So come and see us at MR36. If you have more questions, want to do a deep dive, want to go into coding, we can do that as well. We can show all the goodies there. But now I give it over to Scott. Take it on.
Or me. I'm not Scott, I'm Kip. Hi, Kip Miles, Yeti Coolers. This is time for my shameless plug. Yeti Coolers is, we started a decade ago in making hard coolers. We make coolers that keep ice longer, for up to a week. They're indestructible, pretty much. We have coolers in our office that were where the truck burned up, but the cooler still had ice and food in it was still good. We have our drinkware. We had BMWs that burned up, but the drinkware still had ice in it. So our goal is that we make wildly stronger, keep ice longer type of products, nearly indestructible. If you've had our drinkware and it's fallen into the freeway and got hit by a car, it probably still works. So we totally over-engineer it, and that's who we are as a company, and we stay true to our avid customer, which is an avid hunter and fisherman, somebody that wants to disconnect from technology for a week but still have all their goodies good and cold, especially the beer.
Very important.
Thanks, Kip. My name's Scott Holzoffel. I'm VP of Sales for Inosics, and this is actually my fourth Dreamforce. The first three I came as a part of Salesforce. So I was a VP of Sales in the Ohio Valley most recently, and made the jump over to join Gerald and his team when I saw the technology that he had created and that was in development, it was developed. Throughout my 3.5 years at Salesforce, I watched a lot of big clients really struggle with SAP and Salesforce integration. Big companies, small companies, it's really hard to do. That's why I was super excited to join Gerald and his team. So what we're going to do today, we'll talk through a little bit about the business case, talk a little bit more about Yeti, and then we'll do a technical demo and deep dive. And again, as Gerald said, in 20-30 minutes, we're only going to get so deep. So we're around if you'd like to talk to us more in detail. And then one last housekeeping item. At the end, we will be giving away this really awesome Yeti cooler. If you want to come up while we're talking and put a business card in, we'll draw at the end. If you don't have a business card and you want to scribble your name and some contact information down, you can put that in as well. So, okay. So, you guys recognize these slogans if you have SAP and Salesforce. And what we're really helping companies do is deliver on the promise. Salesforce has promised to help you connect with your customer in a whole new way, and for the most part, you're probably succeeding. And that SAP is going to help you become a best-run business. But the real issue is that these two aren't tightly integrated, if at all. Maybe it's a nightly batch integration, or you might have completely siloed data. And that causes a lot of issues. It causes challenges with productivity. You have reps that are calling into inside sales and customer support for help, for data that they should have access to. It can cause engagement issues if you're in front of your customer, but you can't tell them what they need to know about inventory or order history or quote history. And then there's an adoption concern as well. As you guys know with Salesforce, you want your users to get the most out of the tool, and they're only going to do that if you have the data there. So we believe there's a direct correlation between the accuracy and the comprehensiveness of the data and the value of the data that's in Salesforce. There's a one-to-one value. So if you think about your sales reps that are in the field today, what data do they not have access to in real time that would make them more engaged? And we believe there's about a 40% deficit. I think it could be as high as 60%. And as you'll hear from Yeti, they had similar challenges prior to this. So next slide. So this is going to look similar. This is reality for probably a lot of your users out there, where you're going to have, if you click one more time, you're going to have your Salesforce screen, you're going to have SAP transaction screens, you may even have a Fiori app or two, and so your users are going to be toggling back and forth between all these different sites, the swivel chair, lack of productivity. What we're doing is putting this data directly into Salesforce, so you can, in real time, leverage that data in a create, read, update, or even delete format. So I think we all agree this is really valuable. And if it's so valuable, it begs the question, then why aren't more people doing it? And really what we found is that it's hard, it's time consuming, it's expensive, and the resources are hard to get. And so what we believe is we have a secret sauce that takes what should be, what is very complex, and makes it surprisingly simple. So what I'm going to do is turn it over to Kip to share the Yeti story, and then we'll go after that to Gerald and talk about the technical details.
So, look, again, at Yeti Coolers, 2 years ago we grew 200%, last year we grew 300%, we're still growing like crazy. And our previous solution, with our previous ERP package to Salesforce, it was your typical data middleware migration. Actually, it was a very poor middleware. It was moving 30 orders an hour downhill when it is back. And we could have a single salesperson doing that, so obviously that was horrible. We even replaced that with a better integration tool that's based on Scribe. So we don't have the backlog, but you still end up with data errors because you're talking about two different systems. So we have sales reps that are responsible to either trying to key in orders in Salesforce, and then they get over to the ERP system, then they get replicated back. Well, what if lines are deleted? What if the orders are deleted? What if there's changes? Okay, and you get all that two-way replication, and I have a fundamental theory about trying to keep a multi-master database in sync, which is not using the same database. It's impossible. It requires some very sophisticated middleware. Now you can do that if they're both on the same database and you're using database synchronization, but they weren't on the same database. So it was really hard to do it. So when we started looking at different ways to do this with our SAP implementation, we really wanted to get rid of all that data migration. We wanted all of our sales team to only use Salesforce. We didn't want them bebopping between two different applications. So what a No6 does for you is it integrates at the object level. So when you're in Salesforce and you're keying in an order, you're actually keying it in on SAP. So if there's any errors, you're getting the SAP errors right back, real time. And it's going to tell you exactly what you got to do. You can't submit an order until SAP accepts the order. Okay? So there are no data error issues that you have to worry about because they're going to be SAP errors. Okay? You don't have to worry about backlogs. We had a problem where our sales reps, as they're about to meet with the customer, they want to make sure they have all the most up-to-date information on Salesforce. Well, if they show that it's still on a credit hold, and they show that, hey, this order hasn't shipped, and they walk in and says, well, we paid you yesterday, and we also had that shipment in the back right now. I don't know where you guys are at. You can't deal with any delays or errors in that type of information. It has to be correct or you look like an idiot, okay? And we want to give the best customer service to our customers. We want them to be as over-engineered, that experience as over-engineered as our product. That's why we went with the No6. It allows us, Johnny, he's our Director of Sales Operations sitting up here, he was demoing to me just 2 weeks ago how we are able to use the Salesforce app from your phone, key in an order, it's real time, it's snappy, everything works correctly. No issues. And when you start talking about the organizational change management, when you want to move to an SAP ERP system, okay, there are 5 buttons changes to Salesforce. That's it, 5 buttons. Okay, so it's not a big change for the sales organization to be able to use the tool, because it's not the team that I want to have to spend a lot of time training on, because I want them out there selling. And our field sales really aren't in the headquarters anyway, so they really don't have that opportunity to come in and go through a lot of change management for them. So that's the reason why we chose the No6. We've had no issues with it thus far, and it's really met our needs of giving a great quality customer experience.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kip. So what we want to do is try to figure this out just one-handed now because I have a microphone all of a sudden. But we want to walk you through the Salesforce streams, what that means. I'll switch then later over to Lightning Experience as well, so it can run on both areas depending what your organization chooses. But it's as simple as we showed in the graphic before. Within your stream, we can embed information that comes either real-time during screen loading from SAP, like SAP number, there might be discount codes, there might be shipping information, there might be billing information, address, tax information, or we can have other events like buttons on top, and those can be really easily put into your custom screens as well. So how does this work? So real simple, if I have my account detail and I want to show additional SAP custom information, I click on SAP Customer. It goes in real time to my SAP system and pulls the data from there for display. This is not just a display tool. We can do full create, read, update, delete, and offline as well. Very important to understand. So we can drive actions from the salespeople as they see issues with the data, or as they want to update information or that needs to be available for the back office as well. They can do that right at the spot and don't need to use a separate tool or don't need to call in customer service and plug the pipe for custom interaction. Other areas, and of course we have a vast majority of modules. Think about it, anything in SAP is at our fingertips to be able to display an SAP for you. We are showing here another example would be SAP orders. If I click on SAP orders, I get real-time out of SAP the last order numbers. I can drill down from here into an order, and those screens are all customizable. So that's a huge advantage as well from Enosix. The framework is managed, but the screens that get pre-delivered as templates, you can change them to whatever you want with your Salesforce admins, or if you want to make them really fine-tuned with your developer team. Huge advantage. That's why this is so powerful. I can go from here directly to a document flow. So a salesperson sees immediately when did the order get delivered, when was invoicing done, did they pay. I can jump to FedEx, UPS for delivery tracking immediately right from here. Again, as Kip said, available mobility through Salesforce, you don't need a different platform anymore. So if you looked at Fiori enablement or something like that, you can now do this with your Salesforce tools. You invested already in that, the single class of data for you. Beyond that, of course, I can now go through all the different account and display information. Beyond that, of course, we can do creation of data. So we can create sales orders as well. And this is pretty cool. So if you think about, and probably if there is some SAP people here, if you think about what it would mean to recreate business logic from a screen entry for an order entry from SAP, there's complex order types, there is different business processes, there's different pricing routines, all that information, there's different plans, there's different shipping locations, there's different warehouses. We leverage all that business logic, simulate that, and render the screen appropriately. I'll pause here, because this is big. So any drop-downs that are configured for this user group, for the authorizations in SAP, are eliminated for that user automatically in real time. You don't need to recode that. You don't need to put business logic into SAP. We transfer all that, give that all available for you, and you drag it on the screen. This is huge, guys. If you upgrade, if you move to S4HANA, by the way, we run from 4.7 to S4HANA. Yeti is on S4HANA already. You do not need to migrate your screen logic. This is all done automatically. And then as well, of course, I can easily go in and say, okay, Dreamforce 16, pick my material. And now you see it calls automatically and determines the plant. If there's multi-plants, if there's cross-plant configured, and so on, all that is leveraged. Huge, huge, huge point here. And then I can create the order as well. Pretty cool feature we have at the Yeti as well is we have credit card entry information as well, PCI compliant with Paymetric. So that's a huge advantage. So your customer salespeople or your salespeople can accept payments through PCI compliant credit card processing. and that ties all into SAP as well. And your backend system is totally segregated for PCI audits. Huge, huge advantage as well. So, see me if you want to see more, if you want to have more questions on the functionality. There is around 35 pre-built modules where that we can activate out of the gate from sales, from service, from payment processing, and so on and so on. And there's other modules coming. Demandware is big now because Salesforce added that to the portfolio, so we can do integration, Salesforce integration for that as well. So pretty big deal. So how do we do this? What's the secret sauce? So as Scott said, this is pretty tough to do, right? It's like this is not. You don't just connect it through OData and access two tables in the database and you get all the information. So we are accessing SAP on a business level. We call them smart business objects. So there is huge wrappers around SAP that basically build all the logic of a customer material into a metadata format that we took from a transactional process, from a table structure process into an object-oriented model for your developers. And by the way, we humanized it. No German names anymore, right? Real explanations for the developers. So a developer can really easily understand and access customers. They don't need to worry about security. They don't need to worry about locking. They don't need to worry about authorization. And you don't need to worry about the communication method to SAP. We have a proprietary communication method that's not based on the NetWeaver stack, on the NetWeaver gateway, sorry, which means we can run from 4.7 to S/4HANA. We don't care what release you're on, what batch you're on. And by the way, that's all SAP certified, so that's a good thing on top. This shows a reference document from Salesforce, how typically their recommendations are how to integrate from Salesforce to SAP. And there's a white paper out there. You can ping me and I'll be happy to send that out, or you can go to our website, unosics.com as well. But what it basically is, it's a listing of options. And I read through this, and Alex Joseph, our VP of Customer Success and Solution Architect, read through this. And we do SAP since 20 years. And we were like, how would you do this? It's no chance. There's so many OData web services, EDI, batch, nobody can maintain that anymore. So what we did, we basically said, let's forget all that. We provide a proprietary connectivity from Salesforce into SAP to all these elements without you needing to worry about how the data flows. You have it accessible on demand when you need it and consume it on the screens. Pretty powerful stuff. I want to go back to that slide one more time because I forgot to mention one big thing. So you might ask, so how do you connect backend with the front-end piece? So we have a code generator, and what it basically does is I can select the objects that got defined in the SAP backend, customers, materials, invoices, and so on, and can pick them and can say, create code. And it creates automatically all the defined code for Salesforce. Developer does not need to code anything there. It does the connectivity. It's like a web service, but on steroids, right? And move from a single call with GET to a full complex call of an object with create, read, update, delete, offline, integrated. So that's a huge advantage there, and differentiator. From an architectural slide, left side Salesforce, let's start with that. Important to say, there's no additional infrastructure required. You have Salesforce, you have SAP, there's no middleware, there's no servers, nothing. We can load this thing in 2 hours and show you data in 4 hours flowing. And we prove it all the time. We do POVs in 2 days live on your system. No problem for us. On the Salesforce side, we load the Apex codes, we load all the libraries, we load the connectors. It can be set up from Salesforce, very secure. through HTTPS, signatures get exchanged. We can talk as well about firewalls, reverse proxies, all that stuff is standard SAP connectivity to make sure that security is really taken care of. And then, of course, the credentials are passed on. On the SAP side, you have the counterpart to the Smart Business Objects, where we load those objects, SAP certified solution, installed as a saint, does not touch any of your components or of your custom components, so pretty much plug and go. Right? Very, very designed for agile deployment and agile development. We can do go lives within 30 days. If it's complex, like a Yeti, couple of months. Right? But they have return process, RMA processes, they have complicated credit card processing stuff, all the out-of-the-box things. Your life is your user community quickly. This is really cool, Lightning Connect options. So we know that a lot of enterprise customers are struggling with the Lightning Connect. The reason is SAP is not the one-dimensional database. ODA data is really tough to do with an enterprise solution because if you're accessing on database level, you don't know all the business rules that's behind it. My favorite example is how would your Salesforce developer know that the yen, the currency, is stored in different decimals than German, than the euro? You don't. So what we did, we said, okay, how can we use our Smart Business Objects in the back end and really tie that into the Lightning Connect and Lightning experience of the future? So we are enabled through Lightning Connect access on object level, which means access on a business and business process definition level, which changes the game for admins. Because all of a sudden, you are getting back this object of customer data. You don't need to know, oh, it's KNA1, KNAB, KNBV, and I need to know all the relationships to connect them. You talk about the customer, and it brings back, oh, here are the orders, here's the deliveries, here's the customer master data, here's the pricing data, and you consume it. Super easy to do. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, come by to our booth, MR36, and we can go all in the deep depths of the technology as well.
Great, thanks, Gerald. So we've got 7 minutes left, and we will draw a name from this cooler. So if you haven't brought up your business card and you'd like a chance to win, great. We do have time for Q&A. If there's any questions, we can go out on the floor.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Great presentation.
Thanks.
Let's give him a round of applause and then we'll go to questions. Hi.
So when we do pricing and orders, sometimes salespeople want discounts and they need to be approved. How does that work in this infrastructure?
So we have an approval process for that, where you can do manual price overrides. They would then flow into SAP condition types. You set that up as a separate condition type, and we trigger a release for that, and then through an app that somebody can use, a manager or something, they can approve it, and then it flows automatically. So pretty simple. So here, the same basic rule, we set up your business processes where it belongs to, which is SAP. We don't code all that in the front end, because if you need to move or if you configure, it's not scalable, not maintainable. So we use the power of SAP in the back end and the power of Salesforce on the front end.
Great. Marika's going to walk around one more time with the cooler, make sure everybody got their cards in.
Get your business cards in.
Question? You're going to put your business cards in the cooler to win? Yeah, let's go again.
There you go.
There's no limit, and then we'll go right there after.
No, if there's somebody else.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Have you done any integration with Marketing Cloud with SAP? We're looking to understand to make that connection through the journey.
So basically we can connect, as soon as it's on the Salesforce platform, our framework connects into it. So we're talking with Yeti Cooler, for example, they send out PDF emails to the Marketing Cloud, and they want to enrich it with real-time data from the customer. So yes, definitely a doable use case.
Okay, we have time for one more, then we're going to do the drawing. Do you want to ask?
So we're a renewals-based business. How does this work where you can present up renewals and still process and modify those as customers request?
I did not get.
So
Sorry.
every year it renews
Yeah.
a subscription, and the order gets presented. Is there, when you say you have full CRUD, they can do whatever they want to that order and process it through?
Yes, so you can, depending on the authorization profile, you can define that. They can do change, create, read, update, delete, rarely, but we'll block it so somebody can review it. But that's full in your control for that. Yeah.
But we leverage the SAP security framework.
Okay, let's do this fantastic drawing for the
Okay.
Yeti Coolers.
Before we do, let me scan you. So if you don't win now, you have one more chance. So I'll give you directions because we're hard to find. We're in a meeting room in South Moscone, meeting room 36. So when you enter the expo hall, you go to the far left, and we're the last row there. And so what we're asking is if you want, come by, talk to us. This is what our room looks like. Stand here, take a selfie, post it on your LinkedIn and @mention and ASICS, and then we'll select a winner after Dreamforce and we'll ship it directly to you. So again, these are great coolers. We'll draw the first winner, and then please stop by and see us. We're here through Friday, the rest of the week. All right, you guys ready?
Okay, let's go.
Penrod, Mary Scroy. Scroy, did I pronounce that right?
Yay!
Yes! All right, winner, chicken dinner.
Congrats.
Congrats, all right. There's information up there to go and win another one too. So make sure if you lost this one, go visit them in South Moscone.
Yeah, please stop by. Thank you again for everybody's time. Appreciate it. Have a great Dreamforce.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, enjoy
Another round of applause, please. So we're going to pretty much move right into our next presentation that starts at 11, which it is now, which is a beginner's guide to lightning.